Okay, hi. Uh, yes, so everyone in text analytics, my name is Clint Vrazel. I've enjoyed going to class with many of you, and it's great to share this person I'm about to introduce with you. Um, this is Dr. Piyush Kumar. He was my mentor at TMW Systems. He I started with the data science team with him. We worked together for a year, over a year, on many projects, a lot of blue sky thinking. Um, I learned so much from him as just a person, as a coworker, as a new dad, and about data science. It's a real pleasure to share him with you, Dr. Piyush Kumar. So say hi to Text Analytics, Piyush. That's great. No, that's fine. So can you talk real quickly about uh, how your path to get into data science? Mm-hmm. Well, I remember the intern Rishi called me and he said we had to specifically exclude Elon Musk because Elon Musk's posts had all the same hashtags as our transportation conference. So when you say transportation and technology, most of the time people were talking about Elon Musk. Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And you have to buy it years before you even get it. If you even get it. um. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was NLTK. They've got like a sentiment. You talked about open source libraries, and I know you and I worked a lot in R and Python. Can you talk about some of the tools you've used and the languages you've used besides R and Python? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, then go into those. Yeah, the libraries. Mm-hmm, 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 Yeah, because the time it's going to take to rebuild that or to build is going to be greater than the time it takes, to get stuff done. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so let's talk. So that's a good kind of feel for the kinds of things you've done and the kinds of applications you've had. Can you talk about because I know your background was in operations research, and then you ended up in transportation and data science. What was one of the things that surprised you about the data science world? Something you wished you had known going in. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 And yeah, and that's not even the question of what do you do with it? What do you try to what are you going to try to ask of it? The questions, can you rely on it? All those. That's a conversation you have to have before you can even ask the rest of the questions. Let alone present your models and try to get people to adopt them, or present your tool and try to get people to adopt them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very empirical. Although in my experience, people do ask like, what are the numbers behind that? But only one person cares, and it's just like an afterthought. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's actually really really huge. Going from the academic environment, our academic projects to have a lot of weight to, okay, what are our assumptions? Let's be really clear about this. But it's interesting for us and useful for us for development or for anybody who would be taking over or maintaining it, but not for any of the other decision makers or interested parties. They care about the result. They care about and how and that you can get there quickly. Well, what about so where do you see the future going? I know that you've worked in statistical models. I've seen you've worked with visualizations. You talked about being up on these open source libraries. Now blockchain is into the picture. Where do you see you like maybe where do you see you working on in data science in the next couple of years, or the whole field? What do you think those changes will be? Mhm. Yeah, not just automating processes and pulling in data, but organizing that data and orchestrating the processes to okay, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, it's a shared ledger. It's a shared ledger. Mhm. Right, because you're talking about like the internal, like the administrator, the steward of the data, then the clients who use it, and then you've got the operational users and the analytics users, and you're designing for all those levels at the same time. Like, yeah, having had to scour our old company for data when it wasn't really built for, it was only built for operations. One case in point was the zip codes that come out with one of our operational products. They just threw a handful of cities. So there are about there are 50,000 cities, but they threw maybe 20,000, and so just some of them are filled in. And any client could fill in their own after that. But when you pulled it all back together, clients had multiple versions of the same city, and everything fell apart trying to bring that together because it wasn't designed for anything else other than operations. Yeah, it was a very successful operations, and it stood for what 15 years. I mean, it made the company. I mean, it made my job possible. So I'm not. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, just to list some, I think we in my time with you, we've worked with Docker, and we uh, Jupyter notebooks, sure, but then we also pulled in Zeppelin to try to quickly view and create visualizations on huge data at scale. Uh, we started with R, but then that didn't scale up, so we switched over to Python and then PySpark on the Hadoop cluster. But even then, that had a cap because we were writing it in Python instead of going with like native, I guess native Scala or Java, and it's just wherever you go, there's kind of a wall and you have to work around it. You are a fast learner. Go with it. That's a great summary. That's a great evolution of your worldview there. Like that you would probably say like the data science. Even the title is sort of it's a new word for a lot of old things coming together with new technologies. But even this may change. It may disappear, and they'll call us API specialists or machine talkers, or they'll call us something. And uh, Right. A lot of people create these value added apps by tying together APIs, and they're like, oh, we've never put GPS data together with like pet registries, so you can track lost pets, or you oh great, that's a nice little niche. But when all that starts to get really connected, you have to find value somewhere else, somehow. Yeah. So mhm. Right, and whether we're wearing that research hat to go after it, or the business, profit, competitive advantage hat, or not, whatever's still driving us is still driving us. But okay, that's great. I've spent a year and a half, actually almost 2 years, and I always learn something when we talk. So thank you for your time. Thanks for letting us meet Ali. I'm sure the text analytics class will appreciate it. And baby talking is an entirely different type of analytics as well. It's okay. So thank you, and uh, I will hope to see you sometime soon. And I guess I'll wish you a good night as I turn off the recording. So you don't have to go. I'm just going to turn off the recording. uh, how do I stop? How do I stop the video?